a man discovered a beautiful stone on the mountain. Before he could take a closer look, a rattlesnake lunged out of the grass. Its sharp hiss froze him in place and its fangs sank deep into his arm. A searing pain shot through him like wildfire. He knew all too well that rattlesnake venom could be lethal within minutes. In a panic, he fumbled for his phone to call the hospital, but his trembling hands caused it to slip into a crevice. The only thing he could rely on was the knife at his waist. Gritting his teeth, he cut into the wound and tried to suck out the venom. Though this was a common trope in movies, the pain didn't ease. Instead, his arm gradually went numb. He realized he had to get back to the cabin at the foot of the mountain as quickly as possible. Collapsing in the wilderness would mean certain death. What should have been a short walk of a few dozen meters turned into the most grueling trek of his life. His legs gave way and his mind blurred, but he stumbled back to the cabin. Thirst hit him like a wave. He drank an entire bottle of water in one gulp, but it only made him feel thirstier. His body, on the verge of total collapse, finally forced him onto the bed. In the middle of the night, he shivered despite a high fever that wouldn't break. Raising his right arm, he saw it swollen grotesquely. The toxin spread rapidly, and death could come at any moment. Soon, he slipped into unconsciousness. When he woke again, two figures appeared before him. He tried to call out, but his throat felt blocked, producing no sound. Even worse, the two merely glanced at him coldly before turning and walking away. Time passed, or so it seemed, before he slowly opened his eyes to find the venom had miraculously receded. His arm bore only faint bite marks. The thick beard on his face revealed he had been asleep for a long time. Grateful to be alive, his first thought was of his mother. He rushed home by car, but as soon as he left the mountains, he realized the town had been transformed. The once lively streets were now eerily silent. Supermarket shelves lay in disarray, military vehicles blocked entrances, and the square was littered with corpses. The broadcast repeated its warning over and over. Everyone must stay home and avoid going outside. A deadly virus had swept across the world. Desperately, he drove toward home, hoping his parents were safe. But the scene inside chilled him to the bone. Rotting fruit and cold breakfasts covered the table. In the bedroom, his father lay reduced to bones. In the bathroom, his mother had ended her life beside a bottle of medication. An overwhelming wave of grief and regret washed over him. He poured every ounce of strength into burying his parents. That night, lying in his familiar bed, he realized that the nagging he had once resented now felt unbearably precious. The next day, he decided to search for other survivors. Empty streets stretched before him like graveyards. Night fell before he glimpsed the faint lights of the city and felt a flicker of hope. But when he entered the city, it was already deserted. The noise and bustle were nothing but an empty shell. Just when despair threatened to consume him, he encountered two survivors. They were naturally immune to the virus, but like him, they had lost their families. Their brief companionship gave him hope for a renewed sense of connection, but soon disagreements and despair tore them apart. Guilt and loneliness once again pushed him to the brink of collapse. Then, a small dog appeared by the roadside. Jack crouched down, cautiously extending his hand, afraid to scare away this fragile spark of life. Looking into the dog's clear eyes, his heart ignited once more. He named it Lucky and continued his journey with it by his side. A year passed. Through reading, exercise, and the company of Lucky, he barely endured the crushing solitude. Yet whenever he thought of his mother, tears welled up. He hadn't realized how painful loneliness could be. Just as Jack was on the verge of giving up on life, Lucky began barking furiously in the distance. Following the direction of the barking, he was stunned to see smoke rising from the neighboring house.